What's up, y'all? So today's video is going to be about something that's super important to me and that has been part of my life for the past decade now, which is crazy. I didn't realize it until today. I was walking through the grocery store and I was like, you know what? It's been 10 years since I stopped eating meat. I can already hear like the ignorant comments and whatnot, but I guess I'll just start from the beginning. So, eating animals does not appeal to me. It never has. I've tried to become a vegetarian. Well, here, let me rewind. So there's a lot of different tiers of vegetarianism. Right now in my vegetarian journey, I guess, I'm a lacto-ovo vegetarian, so I still eat eggs and dairy products. So I think eventually I do want to not consume, both of those, but right now that's where I'm at, and that's where I've been for the past 10 years. So the only reason yes, I eat eggs, but I spend at least like $4 or $5 on my eggs because I buy them locally because I can trust that they're actually cage-free, or at least not necessarily cage-free or like free pastured. I'd rather buy local just because personally where I live in Ohio, I know there is farmland. I mean, hello, like 80%, 90% of the state is farmland. And I've been to what everyone here calls the Amish country. I think that's a little ignorant. I think it's in Holmes County, and yes, there are a lot of Amish people who live there, so that's where like my grocery store resources their egg. I cannot talk today. That's where the grocery store that I go to resources their eggs. So I feel like out of all people, they would be the ones not to be participating in factory farming. But that is kind of why I became, well, that's not the only reason why, but it's one of the reasons why I became a vegetarian, was because senior year I did my senior paper on vegetarianism versus omnivore. So it was nice because I was arguing from both sides, so it wasn't like a biased report. My dog is trying to get on me. So I learned a lot about really like the vegetarian side of why people choose to not consume meat. And I guess that's what this video will be about, is my personal beliefs and kind of why I don't eat meat. Like I said previously, like, meat has never really been like satisfying, or I've never like craved meat. The only thing I really ate when I did, obviously I ate like everything, whatever. When I was younger, obviously I ate what like my parents, prepared for us, or I want to eat. But like I know a few times throughout high school, especially, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna eat meat. And my parents were like, their eyes rolled and they're like, okay, starve. Like comments like that. But I'm sorry, this video's gonna be all over the place. I'm just like, literally, I'm just gonna like vomit information and, do what you will with it. But, so, I don't know what I was talking about. But, senior year is like when I took the plunge, and from some people I know, like, they've had to like slowly acclimate to not eating meat, but just one day I was like, okay, I wrote this report. I was totally against factory farming. I knew that factory farming would never change. There would never, I hope one day there will be, but honestly there's not going to be a more humane, proficient way of obtaining meat for the consumer. There's a lot of companies who obviously are trying to get to that point, and I really respect them and respect the people who still eat meat, but they try to obtain their meat from better resources and humane resources. So I think that's the biggest thing for me. That was like the biggest turnoff, and just seeing like what animals have to go through just to feed us. And honestly, like personally, I know this sounds crazy, but if it was like die or eat an animal, oh my god, I can just hear like a criticism right now, but honestly, I don't care. Like, I don't know if I could eat that animal. Honestly. Like, it's just, that's just how I am. Like, that's it. Like, that's what I choose. Like, if you don't like it, tough shit, you're gonna live because you're gonna eat the animal. Good for you. Like, it doesn't concern you what my choice would be. And considering I'm pretty sure I can find something else to eat. Whatever, I don't want to get into that. So, I keep trying to tell the story. So, senior year, I just literally quit cold turkey. No pun intended. But I just stopped eating meat, and that was that. At the beginning was kind of rough because I didn't really know about, I was still in high school, so it was, I think it was like senior year. I didn't drive yet, so I couldn't like just go to the store and buy my own food. So it was really challenging. I would just like not eat whatever my mom prepared if it had meat in it. So it wasn't much. I'd say after like the first like 6 months, like my parents realized that I was serious about it. So they started, you know, trying to buy me things that I could eat. Or just be more conscious of it, I guess. If we were having spaghetti or something, she would just cook me plain noodles. We weren't to the point where we knew much about like the fake meat and the meat substitutes, so I didn't really eat those. It took me like a couple years to really get into those. I mean, nowadays they literally make every single fake meat substitute. I think the worst thing is bacon. Like, everything else is like, okay, this is good, this is comparable. But the bacon, the fake bacon, is just like, I don't know, it just feels and tastes like cardboard to me, but if that's the thing that I can't eat, whatever. A lot of people, let me make sure this is still filming. Some questions, well, here, let me just stay at the beginning. The beginning was hard because you're always going to get ridicule and people's opinions when you do something like drastic or that's like outside the norm. So I still am to this day, not as much, just because it's a little bit more common now than it was 10 years ago, which is crazy, but just like teasing about like, I don't know, my parents would always say, you better grab you a piece of that, you know, cube steak or something, like, and like honestly it didn't really bother me, but after a while it just got like annoying to hear, even though I didn't really react to it. So I think that was the most frustrating part of it, was that I wouldn't react to the comments, but they still came, you know, almost every night, but whatever. And then the people who are like interested, genuinely interested, will ask like, what do you miss the most, or do you wish you could go back? And like, that's a silly question. Like, I'm not being forced to be a vegetarian. I could go back to eating meat, you know, if I wanted to. The answer has always been, for the last 10 years, no, I don't miss eating meat. I don't miss really anything. Like, I don't get cravings for meat. It's not like I'm just like sitting at home and I'm like, oh my god, I'm craving a chicken sandwich or something. Like, I don't know. I think it was easy for me to go, just to quit, because I didn't really enjoy meat. So other than that, let's see, people will ask that all the time, like, what do you miss the most? Nothing. Will you always be a vegetarian? Or a vegan? My plan is to eventually become a vegan, but I don't know. I mean, I have my whole life left. I'm not gonna rush it. I don't know, I just can't fathom eating another living being. If that makes sense. I mean, I know like plants are living as well, but not up to the same mental capacity, obviously. The plan is, yes, I honestly, like, never say never. Like, when I was in high school, I said, like, I'm never gonna get a tattoo. I'm never gonna get a piercing, and I have both. So I know, like, never say never, but at this moment in time, I don't want to eat meat ever again. Will I? Maybe. Do I want to? No. So that's the answer, to that. It's like, I know there's gonna be like there's always just a lot of stupid comments with, the whole vegetarian and veganism thing. But it's just in general, like, who cares? Like, it's my life, it's not affecting you. At least I haven't, chosen to do something like meth or that, be a murderer, something like that. So, I don't know, just in this world, especially in 2019, everyone is so sensitive and everyone has an opinion about everything, which just makes everything so much more sensitive and quite honestly annoying. You really have to like watch what you say, which, I mean, I can kind of respect that because I know I get tired of hearing like ignorant comments regarding vegetarianism and veganism. I think like the worst rap is like all those memes going around, especially with like the vegans, like when like you can't say something to someone without a vegan telling you that they're vegan, and I've experienced that. I just spit. I try not to do that, but sometimes I catch myself doing it. Like someone will say these chicken wings are good or something, and I'll just be like, oh, I can't eat that. And then as soon as I say it, I'm just like, oh my god, I'm doing like the I'm a vegan thing. It's not intentional, it's just, I don't know. I gotta stop doing it though, because people usually don't really care. It's like, I don't really have a lot to say about it, but I mean, I guess going back to the why, it's just, I just can't, I hate even thinking about it, but like just the factory farming. Whoever is like cruel enough to even work in one of those factories is mind-boggling to me. I just couldn't imagine it being my job to kill animals every single day. It's just crazy. It's just really sad. If it was like a more humane way of doing it, I feel like that was like the biggest issue for me. It was just like how inhumane it is. Like literally animals hanging by their feet, being, deferred or defeathered while still alive, and like boiled alive, like dunked into boiling water or oil or what? Not oil. Stupid. Basically boiling water because that removes all the feathers and fur and whatnot from the outside of their body. But most of them were still alive when they're doing that. The baby chicks was another thing that like just disgusted me. Was basically the males are just like thrown into like a big like wood chipper. I mean, that's what it looks like, literally, because there's no use for them really, because they can't lay eggs, so you can't, basically the industry obviously wants to get, kill two birds with one stone. So a female hen, you can get, a shit ton of eggs, and then once she's unable to produce eggs, you get meat from it. Baby chick, the male, you can't really get too much from it besides the meat, but you have to feed it and let it grow. So they just get ground up, and that's what most of like cat and dog food is. Other like chicken or meat products that have like filler, like probably hot dogs probably have them in there, like the meat filler or the meat what's that word? Combination of meat that makes other meats like Spam and hot dogs. Those are like two of the biggest things to me, and obviously the cramped spaces. Like, imagine just literally sitting in, I mean, for us it'd be comparable of like a 2 foot by 2 foot square, just sitting there not being able to move and literally being fed, force fed all day long. I don't know, I don't want to get into that, that's like a whole other video, but basically this video is just why I became vegetarian, and I'm celebrating my decade, which is crazy to think about. I can't believe it's been 10 years of not eating meat. So, but yeah, I kind of want to get like a vegetarian tattoo to commemorate. I don't know what I'd get though, but I do want to get something. Speaking of tattoo, I haven't heard from my artist. I was supposed to get my start on my sleeve this week since I'm on vacation. I haven't heard from him. I'm kind of bummed about that. I know shit happens, so I'm not trying to get too upset about it. And it's a tattoo, and it'll be on my body for the rest of my life, so I have time to wait. But I think that's it. Hurrah to being vegetarian for 10 years. Maybe in the next 10 years I'll be vegan at that point, but I don't know. Alright. Toodles.